Arlingtonians, did you know you have one of the best home brewers of beer in the world living right here in town? Ben Maidon is the 2021 American Home Brewers Association Home Brewer of the Year. He beat thousands of other entrants to win the most prestigious prize in home brewing. I went and visited Ben to find out what combination of hops, yeast, grain, and water makes a beer special, while also finding out more about Arlington's own international champion. This isn't exactly your local microbrewery, but it's the perfect environment for Ben Maidon to brew his award-winning beers. Brewing is a hobby for Ben that turned into a passion that was spurred on by his wife.
I think it was really simple. About 20 years ago, my wife, basically, I think I was probably working a little bit too much, and my wife was like, you need to get a hobby. So she said, well, remember, my mom had brought a beer making kit to you one time, and you seem to enjoy that. So we're going down to the Cambridge Homebrew Emporium down in Cambridge. And she walked in the door with me. The guy behind the counter said, what can I do for you? And she said, set him up. And so it was just magic from there. It made a lot of sense. I mean, honestly, at the time, I was actually doing yeast, studying yeast biology. So it was a match made in heaven is the only way to put it.
After 20 years of brewing and 12 years of entering the contest that Ben describes as similar to a dog show but for beer, he finally broke through and won the top prize. His process, he says, is pretty simple.
All right, so there's a couple of ways you can get started. So you have to create something that the yeast will ferment to make beer. So the first step that you can either buy pre-made malt extract and basically dissolve that in water, boil it, add some hops, cool it down, add the yeast, and go. And it's really that simple. If you can make tea, you can make beer.
Ben knew that his award-winning batch was special when it got the stamp of approval from his most honest judge, his wife.
As it goes, coming back to my wife, she has a really honest and open critique of the beer I make. And I made this beer that turned out to be the winner. I remember I gave it to her to taste, and she tasted it, and she was like, this is really good, but I don't taste anything. I was like, yes, it's an American lager. You're not supposed to taste hardly anything. And so at that moment, I knew it was going to be a good one.
As far as next steps go, sometimes it's better to keep a hobby a hobby.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a hobby. I mean, I got a lot of people saying, oh, you should do this, you should turn professional. But I think that the reality is that, someone always says, why ruin a good hobby by turning it into a job? That's one thing. But the other thing is, the reality is that there's so many really good breweries around here that make such great beer. It'd be hard to really sort of get into this market. And financially, it's difficult to start a brewery. It costs well over $1 million, $2 million to really get a brewery off the ground, and I don't have that.
For Ben, his brewing brain now takes focus on his family's upcoming Oktoberfest celebrations. Ben hopes to continue entering the contest in brewing for years to come. So here's a cheer to Ben for putting Arlington on the map as home to one of the best home brewers on the planet. For ACMi News, I'm Toby Barrett.